To lose or not to lose, that is the question.
Get that stuff out of here! It's Southwest Bias!
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, brought to you by our friends at the Husband and Wife Law Team. If you've had a serious injury, call the Husband and Wife Law Team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. And we are live from Studio K. Got the point right. Brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Become a member of the Inner Circle today by downloading the Circle K app for free. I'm reading a book by Brene Brown. Every once in a while, I like to pretend that I'm a leader and I'm taking charge of things, and I like to study up on the best ways to do it. And Brene Brown is one of the leaders in the thought space. And in her latest book, she talks about the idea of paradox. And she gives the definition in the book, and a paradox is a statement, situation, or idea that seems self-contradictory, but may contain an underlying truth, or is a logic puzzle that appears to be true and false at the same time. I think we all face a lot of paradoxes in our lives, whether it's with business, whether it's with family, whether it's in any walk of life that we go through. And right now, I'm facing one as an Arizona Cardinals fan, because I am at the point where I don't know if them winning has any benefit to us whatsoever. Now, I never want to root against my hometown team. I do not want to do that. But I also know in this paradox that we find ourselves in this lost football season, losing might just be the best answer. It might be the best solution to try to prevent it again from happening in 2026. But how do we deal with that as sports fans? Do you openly root against your team? And how do you enjoy that on a Sunday? Do you sit there and say, you know what, I just don't want to see Jacoby Brissett and Bam Knight and Trey McBride and Michael Wilson, and if any of the other guys, Marvin Harrison Jr. ever get back, I don't want to see them succeed? Or do you say, I want to see them succeed just enough where their seasons go well, but not enough to actually win a game? Last Sunday was the perfect kind of encapsulation of that. Jacoby Brissett makes an NFL record 47 completions. He finishes with the 7th most yards in Cardinals history. Michael Wilson sets a new career high in yards and receptions. In fact, he now has a higher yard game than Larry Fitzgerald did as a Cardinal. Trey McBride had a nice game. And the Cardinals got their teeth kicked in still. Is that what we should root for? Is that kind of game where individual performances look nice, but the overall result is an L? Because right now, you're sitting there going, you do not have a quarterback of the future. You do not know where you're going to go at the most important position in football. And there's not going to be a free agent that answers that question. And sure, Jacoby Brissett's under contract for next year. And is he good enough? Yeah, he's got the Bruce Springsteen, you ain't a beauty, but hey, you're all right, Thunder Road thing going on for him. He ain't great. He ain't horrible. He's a placeholder. And do you want to have a placeholder for a full season next year? To me, the path is simple. Get the best draft pick possible and select the quarterback that Monti Ossenfort believes in most. And then we see what this regime does with a guy that they've selected. Now, I don't know what'll happen with Jonathan Gannon. We know Drew Petzing's gone. I imagine Jonathan Gannon stays and you bring in a new offensive coordinator. And getting the highest draft pick to put that coordinator in the best position to succeed is probably the most important thing this team can do over the next 9 months. So is losing the best thing for the Cardinals? I think yes. And I hate it because everything in me says that's not the way you should feel. Everything in me says I want to go out and root for a win every damn Sunday. And I have every year I've been a Cardinals fan since 1988. Even when you got laughed at by Giants and Cowboys fans when you were in the NFC East for rooting for them and hoping for a win when everything said they'd lose. But I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or because I'm getting fed up with the constant laughing stock nature of how this team is. The constant bottom dwelling that this team has done, that maybe it's finally broke me into thinking that losing is the path to actually fixing things. I don't know. It's a paradox that I keep tossing around in my head and can't come up with an answer that I feel comfortable with. Because logic says, yes, I should want them to lose out. Yes, I should want them to wind up with, one of the top 3 picks so they can get a quarterback of their choosing. Because maybe, just maybe, that'll make things better. But then the fan in me says, I want to see as many wins as possible. I want to see this team give us hope going into next year. I want to see Jacoby Brissett succeed. I want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. come back and show us that he is that talent, that Trey McBride continues to prove he's the best tight end in the league, that Michael Wilson emerges as one of the best second options in football, and Trey Benson comes back and says, this is my job as a running back, and Josh Sweat continues to be one of the sack leaders in the NFL, and JG's defense proves that it's exactly what we think it should be. My heart wants that, and my head says that's not going to happen, and I want a high draft pick. But what are fans supposed to do in that paradox? Because we spend our time and our hard-earned money to watch this team, to root for this team. We live and die with this team on every single Sunday. But I think I'm going to start hoping that they lose. I'm hoping for entertaining games where they lose in the end to put them in a better position to succeed to get a quarterback, because they've circled the drain for every year they've been in Arizona because they've been in search of that quarterback. And they've got small blips of it when they've found guys that have rekindled the magic of their earlier career in Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer. They got a little blip of it with Jake Plummer when he exceeded expectations as a second-round pick and got this team to the playoffs. Kyler Murray was supposed to be that guy. Kyler Murray was supposed to be that quote-unquote savior, the guy that was going to be your franchise quarterback. And while he started for 7 seasons here, he never lived up to the damn expectations. Will the next guy? I don't know, but I sure as hell want him to take the swing at that. And I don't want to have it be some guy that you take 25th and you hope that he turns into it. I want it to be a guy that is praised as one of the top quarterback prospects in the league. I want to see if Monti Ossenfort is actually the guy that can find the talent. I want to see if Jonathan Gannon can tap into an offensive coordinator that can help that next quarterback become the franchise quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, the first quarterback to ever hold that position here since they moved to the desert from St. Louis in 1988. And to do that, I have to hope that they lose. I have to hope that they are not successful the rest of the way. And I hate it with every fiber of my being, but I feel like it's the only thing as a fan that I can hope for to really see success, sustained success. We're not talking .500 or barely over it and sneaking into the playoffs. I want a team that's known as a perennial winner in the NFC West, a perennial winner in the NFC, a team that's a danger to make it to the Super Bowl year in and year out. And I know that's probably too much to ask for, but the only path that seems like they can get there is by losing this season, because they're already down that path and they're not going to crawl their way back into playoff contention. So I don't want to be in football purgatory anymore. And I think the only answer to this paradox is to go back through and lose until you can get that quarterback. I could be wrong. They had the number 1 pick and they blew it before. But if I'm supposed to believe that Monti Ossenfort knows what the hell he's doing, then I need to at least give him the chance to make that pick. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach. Happy Friday, Shane.
Hello.
Should they lose? Should I be rooting for losses?
I think it's the worst situation to be in. I don't want any fan to ever have to root for losses until like the end of the season. So when it matters to jump a couple spots, like if you were to lose in 1 week to move up 4 spots in the draft in the last 2 weeks or last week of the season, then sure. It's way too early for that right now. And that,
is it though? What are you playing for otherwise?
To keep some type of hope around with this staff, with the personnel you have. Like, the NFL is such a culture-based league. If this team just bottoms out to end the year, sure, you might have the a top 5 pick, but the vibes going into next year are horrible.
They're going to be horrible anyway, Shane. They were supposed to be a playoff team.
I don't know if they're going to be horrible anyway. If this team can have a couple of wins down the stretch and you can get some momentum going into the offseason, I don't think it's going to be horrible.
Should I have hope with ASU? Should that be giving me hope? Should ASU's slim chances to make the Big 12 be where my football hope is to make the Big 12 championship?
I mean, I think your football hope can be with the state of college football teams in Arizona.
I mean, Arizona and going to a bowl and what might be a significant bowl is extremely exciting as well. Let's be honest with that.
Yeah.
Too.
So I think that's where your football hope lies right now in the collegiate game. Which stinks, but
I don't know how to feel. Let's see what the bias in the chat. Welcome to all of you, Brent, Bees, Deborah, the whole crew out there, Mr. Cardinal 1969. Brent says the Cardinals have shown they have no idea how to draft or develop players. I don't know if that is necessarily true. I've seen some guys have shown some hope since Monti Ossenfort has taken over. Craig says, I'm a fan of every Arizona team. All I can say is remember that saying from the Waterboy? Oh, no, we suck again, is all I can say about the Cardinals right now. And I think that is very true. Mr. Cardinal AZ says, next year we go to the Super Bowl. Not without a quarterback. I don't think Jacoby Brissett's going to get you there, but I know you are a long-suffering fan, and that's all we want to see. And Bees says the best thing in the entire chat. Exactly, Espo. And I agree. Mr. Cardinal 1969 says, real question is, can this staff develop a rookie quarterback? Not without a new offensive coordinator. You need a new offensive coordinator that can build a system that works for whatever quarterback is starting for you next year. You can't do another, this is my system and you have to fit in it phase, because that does not work and should not work. And then Blake says, if we don't win another game, Monty will be the only survivor. Maybe. And AZ Moise says all the pails unless Monty and Gannon find the right OC to replace Drew, and that is 100% true as well. I want to do my winners of the week before we get to an NBA insider that's joining us on the second half of the program. Bronze this week, Jacoby Brissett. The man winds up setting an NFL record for most completions in a game, is now 7th in yards in a game in Cardinals history, not just Arizona Cardinals history that goes back to your great-great-great-grandpappy. All right, that's how long this team's been around, since the 1800s. And he also is fifth since they've moved to Arizona. Came in a loss, I understand. But as an individual, when you can hold a record as the only one in the NFL to do something, and it's a fairly positive thing in number of completions, and his completion percentage was not bad. This was not a 47 of 80. Like, this was not bad. I believe it was 47 of 53 out there. Bronze and typically captain Jacoby Brissett. The silver this week, rain. I mean, how is it not rain? 4 straight days of rain in the desert. You deserve to win something, and you get the silver when it comes to our winners of the week. Multiple inches, too, which nobody complains about that. And then, here, we don't do gold. This is Arizona. Copper is what we do, and Colin Gillespie wins the copper. He is our winner of the week, averaging 17 points, 6.5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 1.5 steals this week for the Phoenix Suns. To everybody that said the Suns need a point guard, guess what? The Suns have Colin Gillespie as your point guard. You have a point guard. It's just not the one that everybody thought that they needed. Those are our winners of the week. On the other side of the break, we catch up with friend of the program and NBA insider Marc Stein. Mountain America Credit Union, they are where you need to get your banking done, because everybody needs a checking account. You need to put your money somewhere, and you need easy access to it. So why not get one with built-in benefits? The My Lifestyle checking account has all the benefits that you could want from your checking account. These perks are restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access. It is tough to get to the doctor when you're working a full-time job. You got a family. Sometimes you need telehealth, and they help you get that access. Identity protection, because it is a dangerous, dangerous world out there on the internet. So why wouldn't you want to protect it? Plus, loan rate discounts. You're trying to start a business. You looking at getting that first home? Hell, are you just trying to get your kid through college? These loan rate discounts can help you there. Offers on travel, events, and oh so much more. Make my style your lifestyle at Mountain America Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Insured by NCUA. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration and activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply like everything in life. The husband and wife law team. I've been in an accident, and there were serious injuries involved. And I did not do my research when it came to my lawyers, and I went through a 3-year ordeal that could just be described as awful. The guy didn't have my interest in mind. He only had his bottom line in mind. And I should have turned to the husband and wife law team, because Marc and Alexis Breyer are the husband and wife law team, and they believe in Phoenix. They raised their 8 kids here, and they are more worried about what you get out of this than what they get out of it. And that's what makes the husband and wife law team just different. The team brings hundreds of years of combined trial experience and multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. And that's less than 1% of all lawyers that are certified with the state bar have that specialization. So if you've had a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841, or visit their website at the link in our show notes and tell them Espo and PHNX sent you. Excited to welcome in Marc Stein. Joined me a little earlier today to talk about the Phoenix Suns, the West, and just how crazy this league is. Always happy to welcome in my friend, our NBA insider, Marc Stein. Marc, how are you?
I'm good, Espo. Probably not as good as you, but I'm all right. I'm all right.
I mean, the team in our city's winning. I didn't expect me to be on the winning end and the Dallas fan base to be struggling so far this season. But what has surprised you early on here in the NBA? What's caught your attention?
Well, it was funny because I figured you'd want to obviously focus on your squad. And, there are not many pleasant surprises in the Western Conference. You would have to say the Suns are certainly in that category. In the East, we've got them. I mean, the Pistons, I thought last season the Pistons were the best story in the NBA, going from 14 wins to 42, surviving the 28-game losing streak, which set a single-season record. But for the Pistons to go up a notch, for Cade Cunningham to be forcing his way into the MVP conversation, for Duren to be playing at an all-star level. They've been a great surprise, but so is Toronto. I think even Philly, with all the injuries they've had, and they've found a way to win. The Bulls. So like in the East, we have surprise teams, but in the West, your Suns might be the number one surprise as we dribble to the 20 game mark. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
What surprised you most? I mean, obviously the record and being the same as it was this time last year is surprising, but what's caught your eye with the Suns, and from people that you've talked to, what's kind of been the vibe around this squad?
Well, look, the messaging in Phoenix is, I'm sure you guys have discussed many, many times, was that if nothing else, the Suns were going to play scrappy, be watchable, be fun, and try to make the fans smile after last season, which was as dispiriting as it could get. And again, it is still early. And I think you would also agree with me that the schedule has not been the toughest to this point. But they're doing that. They are playing with a great spirit, a great scrappiness. I've only seen them once in person when they came to Dallas, but like they're doing it. I mean, they're with a small team. We've barely seen Jalen Green, but I think I took a quick glance this morning at the league leaders. I think they're 12th in defense, in defensive rating. Again, very early, not the toughest schedule, but I don't remember too many people saying that the Suns would have a top 12 defense even. So
no, there were plenty saying they might be the 30th, the worst defense in the league.
I mean, I think Vegas, the over-under was sub 30. So, I mean, they definitely fall into the pleasant surprise category. The question will be, how long can it last? How will they do as the schedule gets tougher? And my instinct is you would rather have Jalen Green out there than not. So they got to get him healthy and get him back and see what he and Book can do as a tandem.
Yeah, I think that the respect for Jordan Ott and his ability to coach and develop systems has been something that's really caught a lot of attention around the league as well. But you bring up the injuries. How surprised have you been and with how much we've seen these soft tissue injuries and kind of the attention that has been getting around the league? Obviously, you mentioned Jalen Green. He's one here in Phoenix, but it's kind of been prevalent throughout the NBA.
I mean, there's no other way to say it. It sucks. Like, it's the beginning of the season. This is when teams generally still have hope. Now, we've actually seen at the bottom of the East and the bottom of the West. You look at the bottom of the West, and it's stunning just how many teams are already in chaos, in real trouble. But also, the NBA put out the video yesterday. There's been 6 buzzer beaters already in the first 30 days of the season. I mean, these are the things we should be talking about. But obviously, we've got off-court issues with the whole gambling story, which was a thunderbolt that, shook the whole league when that happens 2-3 days into the season. But yeah, I mean, the injuries, because nobody seems to have the answer. There is no clear-cut answer beyond shorten the season, and we know that's not happening tomorrow. So, you talk to so many people around the league. Steve Kerr has spoken about this so many times. The faster pace of the modern NBA, not just the faster pace, the literal mileage guys are putting on, the court coverage demands in modern defense, and, what it takes to get out to all these three-point shooters and the number of threes being taken. I mean, that's been a key element, certainly, of the Suns' early success, is that Ott always gets 4 shooters on the floor. Okay, we can talk about the Suns' lack of size. We can talk about the Suns' lack of a traditional point guard, center questions, whatever it is. But Jordan Ott seems to find a way to get 4 shooters on the floor. Threes are going up. And Book has so much gravity as a star that he bends the floor, even if he's not your textbook Steve Nashian point guard. And that's how they're doing it at the offensive end. And we all know it for a decade now. The 3-point shot has changed the game, that the way has been played. The way that the game is played has changed dramatically. The demands of modern defense have changed dramatically, and every front office is worried about it, and how to fix it is a very elusive answer. I am not the medical expert who could even pretend to provide it. I can only relay to you what I hear when I talk to coaches, GMs, and players. But I mean, there's no way that this doesn't bring you down. Last weekend, I couldn't believe, I just one calf injury after another. Updates, Anthony Davis, John Morant, Drew Holiday, then Wemby, then the groin thing happens with Giannis. It's just it's how can you not find that dispiriting?
I mean, you haven't played a doctor on a podcast or anything, just the experts you talk to.
I try not to. Look, when you cover the league and we're constantly talking about injuries, I want to think I've learned something over the last 30 odd years, but no.
You were, you've patented the hashtag this league. Has this season so far lived up to that? Because it feels like this is the quintessential 15 games that defines this league so far.
Well, I think it usually does live up to that, and that's why the hashtag works. Because I remember it sounds funny because it's such a simple statement, but when I was a very young beat writer covering the Lakers, and Mitch Chortkoff, absolute legend in the LA media, covered the Lakers for years and years and years for the LA Herald Examiner and the Daily Breeze. And just, I'm in my 20s. I'm in over my head. I'm covering the NBA probably sooner than I should be. And I'm still wound tight after all these laters, but back then I was just wound super tight, always uptight, always. And, he would just say, something always happens, and it sounds so simple, but it is the NBA. Something like thunderbolts just strike in this league with great frequency.
We're inching towards that December date where guys are going to become trade eligible. What have you heard kind of rumbling wise so far? And have you heard anything on the Suns front when it comes to interest in any moves?
I got to say, I think it's still too soon for it. I mean, look, we are talking in Dallas. Certainly there's a lot of questions about how are the Mavs going to move forward given how bad their start has been. So there's a lot of Anthony Davis curiosity. There's a lot of John Morant curiosity because of what's happening with the Grizzlies. Now we've got LaMelo Ball curiosity because of the story yesterday and where the Hornets are, the Kings, because they're off to such a rough start. But it's a lot of concepts right now, and I wouldn't say it's it's still too. We got to get it. We got to at least get, I think, to December 15th before anything truly serious starts to percolate. The Suns obviously don't have huge optionality because their storage of trade assets is limited. But I think honestly, the way they would look at it is, since they've barely seen Jalen Green, when they can get him healthy, is going to be a major addition. And I say when, I hope I don't have to say if. They got to get him healthy, got to get him back out there.
Yeah. You and your Substack mate Jake Fisher are doing something cool today at 3 p.m. Eastern. You guys are going to do a chat over there on the Stein line. I've been a subscriber. I know you guys do this kind of stuff, but how fun is it to talk with your subscribers and kind of just discuss the NBA like that?
Yeah, actually today starts year 2 with Jake joining me as a twice a week contributing writer. And so I can't believe that a year has already flown by. It was literally last year, the Thursday before Thanksgiving, that we announced that Jake was going to be writing for me. So we do like to do this from time to time, where we have a chat for our subscribers only. It's basically, you know, our version of a Ask Us Anything. You got to be a subscriber to be part of it. And we'll be in there celebrating year one, but also, you know, the celebrations will last about 30 seconds and it'll be like, where's AD going? Who are the Suns trading for? Just like you. So it'll be good.
I'll throw a couple Suns curveballs your way as well.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Go over and subscribe to the Stein line on Substack. It is one of my favorite reads, and it hits your inbox directly, so you don't have to go search for it. It finds you. You can also follow Marc at the Stein line. Marc, always a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for putting up with my coughing. I can't help it. I start shouting and then I start coughing. Are you? By the way, is that a PHNX hat you got on there?
It is. It's our flag.
All right. Yeah. So we're both wearing. We're both wearing our respective company headwear today.
Sometimes we got to shill, right?
My orange glasses. I can't find my orange glasses though, so apologies.
I'll ship you a new pair and a PHNX hat so we can get that Dallas thing off your head.
Hey, you know what? If you send me one, I'll wear it for Southwest Bias. Send me one.
That is coming your way. Marc, have a happy Thanksgiving. We appreciate you.
Be good. Talk soon.
Big thank you to Marc Stein for joining us this morning. A bigger thank you to the mustache behind the Mac for what? You produced 3 shows this week for me. I appreciate you as always, Shane. Maybe 4. Was it 4? I'll give you credit for 4. You can follow him at Shane Deef. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. And you can follow me at Espo. And remember, maybe we've got some good football on the college side, but we're probably rooting for the Cardinals to lose. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.